goes to about 80,000 residents in my marketplace, and that has had the biggest impact, I think, this year on our business. If anybody's been on the Facebook pages, I've been uploading the ad content on what we're writing. Jeff Cook, you got one, didn't you, that I wrote? And I'm just using the NAEA stuff right off of the 7 mistakes list thing, and I'll tell you, it's an awesome value that people want. You know, what's that?
What kind of magazine is it, you said?
The magazine is like, it's an editorial ad magazine, so it's all ads, really, but they're all written editorial style. So you could have plastic surgeons. Luckily, I'm only one of the only realtors in there. I don't understand why, but I am. There's a ton of, like, you know, anyone who's selling furniture to windows to whatever, but they write stories about the company. So it offers good value because it's teaching people about whatever it is, and it's free. So it gets mailed to all these households for free.
I'm wondering if it's in different markets. What's the name of it?
Pardon?
What's the name of it?
It's called Mimi Vanderhaven.
Tell them the concept now behind the lady that sent it.
Oh, so Mimi Vanderhaven, and I should have brought, well, I'll bring it tomorrow. I have a couple. And Mimi Vanderhaven is a fictional woman. She doesn't exist. The guy's name is like Phil or something. And that blew me away because I was sitting next to him, and he had one of his associates, and she's like, so what do you think, Mimi? And I'm like, what is he like, cross-dressing or what's going on here? But no, it was Phil owns Mimi because he's marketing to women in middle to upper middle class suburbs, and it's an amazing target audience. And the ladies love this magazine, and it's got this little picture of a lady up there in pink with high heels and a shopping bag, and they page through this thing, and it goes once a month. They look forward to getting their Mimi. And it's awesome. And I think I'm in probably about 6 or 7 different suburbs. They all encompass my market. But if I only wanted to go into 2, I could do that, and it just segments it. The more suburbs you go into, the lower, you know, the better you get on your cost. But we do a full page in that. I'm thinking about going to 2 because it's that good. I set up a splash page on the Agent Success site. Has anybody got Agent Success sites in here? What's it called, Jay?
Web Agent.
Web Agent Solutions, I'm sorry. And I just set up a splash page and drive them to that, and the leads come in and they're all listed. Those are all for listings. We just signed up with Viral Video Blog, and we're up and running, and Frank's been awesome. I've already had like 2 calls with him, so I'm looking to get that up and running. Let's see, I passed out. The next page on my handout is our 30-day test drive. So, not sure where I got this idea from. Someone had in my market. I think it was Haas Pratt. Haas had an easy exit listing agreement, and I'm like, well, what people like to do before they drive a car is test drive it. So I came up with a 30-day test drive, and that also goes on all my ads, and it's also I consider one of our USPs. Our big competitor in our market is the name is the company's Howard Hanna, and they encompass like Western Pennsylvania and most of Cleveland. They bought 2 of the biggest brokerages, and they make people go out and get 12-month listings, and they're unbreakable. So one of the things that we know when we're going up against people like that is, well, you know, you can't get out of that agreement. If you're unhappy, you're just going to get another AFA. They're not going to let you out. They're just going to give you another average agent to try and clean up the mess. So we came up with that. It's been great. People call specifically about that. So I'll get call-ins that sound like it'll either be like, I'm calling about your guaranteed sale program, or I'm calling about your 18% more, or I'm calling about your 30-day test drive. We get, I would say, probably equal amounts of hits for that. So feel free to steal it.
Question?
And implement it. Yeah.
Do you charge any kind of cancellation fee after the 30 days?
No, but we have an upfront fee of $4.95, and actually that helps justify the upfront fee, because I say, hey, look, after 30 days, the other 3 agents didn't charge an upfront fee. You're the only one that's charging it. I said, well, the other agents, do any of them have a 30-day test drive? We're investing a ton of money up front, and this is going to be a mutual investment. We're both going to have skin in the game, and they start to appreciate it more when I say, after 30 days, if you're not happy, I'm not stuck with a boatload of expenses. You've shared them. Now, I do still have expenses, but you've shared with some of them with me, and that's when I've come up with that. And they actually, I never thought that the upfront fee could tie in with a cancellation guarantee, but it works.
Where's,
So as I read this, it says you can cancel after the 30th day, and a 30-day written notice is required. So I mean that they're not really leaving the listing until the 60th day, or
Well, it should say after that I reserve the right.
well, you can waive it.
I can waive it.
But do I read that correctly that it would?
Yeah, and I mean, that just gives us the right that, you know, to have a 30-day opportunity to fix it. But only one person's ever taken me up on that, and I was happy that she did. You know?
Right.
I mean, usually the only people that are going to take you up on it are the ones you don't want to work with anymore anyway. I had her house professionally photographed twice. It was an empty condo for like $114,000, and she still wasn't happy.
Right.
And I'm like, I can't make you happy, so, and I just signed off, and I'm not going to hold somebody to that 30 days. What if it was one of those that you could save, because maybe one of your teammates screwed up, and I can come in and it just gives me a little bit of a cushion to try and help out.
what area are you running that magazine in?
It's all the western suburbs, so from like, if you know Cleveland, from Lake Erie, all the way down to about Medina County.
Like University Heights?
No, that's the east side, so the west
west
side.
side.
So if you see like downtown Cleveland, there's I-71 and 77. Those are the two parallel. Anything pretty much west of 77 from the lake to Medina County, that's kind of our marketplace right there. So there's quite a few suburbs, and there's suburbs in there that I'm not covering because Mimi doesn't go into, you know, it measures income. So if a particular suburb doesn't have a high enough average income, they won't deliver their magazine to it, which is also nice because you're getting higher price range homes. So.
What,
Nope, good.
Well, my question is, so what are your current weaknesses or threats?
Well, current weaknesses, I guess, right now is, I mean, I don't have a rockstar ISA like we talked about on our call, and we literally just hired her, so we'll have to see how that works out. But I think that's probably, you know, like what we talked about, that's got to be your number one hire. And unfortunately, I learned that a little too late, but there's always tomorrow, right? So we're gonna try and fix that, and we've already implemented a 20% referral. We call it an ISA fee. If one of the ISAs sets something up, so we have our current split structure, and a 20% fee comes out of that. If I don't have enough appointments going out there to justify it, then that could be a threat to our bottom line. But I'm going on most of them, so as long as I'm, you know, if something happens to me, like if I did something really stupid, like went into a Tough Mudder and broke my leg and pulled my hamstring out, that could be a threat because I can't go on listing appointments. So anyone that wasn't at Kentucky Derby Mastermind would have known that I was on crutches for that one. So that wasn't good. So Tough Mudder's a threat.
Do you also charge like a broker service fee at the end, say, you know, front fee $495?
Yeah, it's $250.
Okay.
Yeah.
And going up, right?
And going up. Yeah. So we got our 30-day test drive. In addition to that, I just printed that out, but we have our marketing arsenal consists of our communication guarantee. We communicate every week with hug calls to every one of our listing clients. Our 89-point marketing plan, NAEA. Our unfair advantages, I didn't include that in the packet, but that's, you know, our statistics. We're selling 4% higher on an average than the average agent. Our listings are selling 15% faster, and our 59 days sold, guaranteed sold, or we'll sell it for free. So, anything else? Did you say you had one?
You were talking on the thread about your new commission program,
Mm-hmm.
where you pay X dollars, 50%.
Yep, I got that right here. I'm gonna go over it.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want me to talk about it? Yeah, well,
your easy exit is truly unconditional, right? No questions asked?
yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean?
Oh, no, because usually when you put quotation marks around something, sometimes people think that there's something that goes along with it. So I was-
Well, that's because other brokers will give you conditional
I
releases.
understand that. What I'm saying is if you take the quotation marks out of it, it makes it just perception from the a reader standpoint.
So I should take them all?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
I just think
cool.
that sometimes when you put quotation marks around something, people are like, what else is coming?
Good
Yeah.
call. On the other hand, I put conditional in mine.
Do you? What kind of what do you do?
Conditions are Restrictions upon apply. upon my approval.
Yeah.
And upon paying $12.95 feedback to me for cost cancellation. And so that's it.
So it's not that easy.
Yeah, no, it's not, and it's not called an easy exit either. So I will, now, here's what I'll give you just kind of a
Yeah.
position to look at it from. So an easy exit guarantee is definitely a tool that you should have in your tool belt, but it's not the tool you want to lead with. So in my experience, I've used one before for a long time, but you tend to attract what you put out in front of them as a benefit. So they start, instead of working with you, the client a lot of times starts looking for the problems to try to justify getting out of the listing. So you start to kind of tempt them to try to take you down that road.
Right.
So we don't use that unless it is a document. It's in the listing binder. It's a part of the presentation as an additional. If I can't get them to close, here, hey, listen, I understand how you're feeling. We also have this, and that's when we present that. Is it if we're unable to close on the appointment at the end, and then so we don't get it on every single one because we want to teach all the people that were going to sign up anyways that they can exit the listing. But
Right.
we built it into our listing agreement addendum, which I think you can get a copy of it somewhere online in CHSA. I think is where it's at right now. But
No, I like
you get a copy of the ones we put in there. But it's a little bit stiffer guidelines, and it's not hindering the business as much. And I started with one line, very similar to that. And
Right.
the cancellation guarantee, I led with that, and I led with the communication guarantee for a long time. The challenges were, the more that I put it on myself that we're going to over-deliver in all of these areas, the harder it was for us to really exceed their expectations.
Right.
So when you put it more back on them and the communication side of things, you can over-deliver, which is what we ultimately want to do, especially in that first 30 days. So just keep that in mind. Is if you lead with those as being your tools as you grow, the biggest challenge is going to be as you grow that listing inventory. It starts to become, how can I solve some of these problems through automation? And how can I, you get the calls such as, a lot of calls that I would get when I was at 150 listings plus was, how come you're not showing my house? I'm getting all these showings from other companies. So in the CHSA presentation, we talk about how we actually target other companies with our marketing, and that's going to get you a lot of showings from other companies. So we eliminated that whole position of, we turned it and spun it as a benefit, right? So we eliminated all these calls we're getting of people calling and saying, well, why is your company not showing the house, and why is all these other companies showing?
Right.
So there's little things like that you want to be careful of as you grow that listing inventory.
Right.
Obviously, how many listings do you have right now?
I only got 30. I had like 50, but we have 17 in pending. So we've been putting them up and putting them down, which is awesome.
Sure.
So,
that's great. But you're at that tipping point where if you continue to focus on building your listing inventory, getting the ISA hired, and to accomplishing that goal, your inventory is going to climb. And as it starts to climb, that's where things start to unravel and your systems get tested.
Right.
So that's my experience. My personal experience was as I grew, a lot of the things that I offered that I thought were the reason that they were hiring me wasn't really the reason they were hiring me, and that I didn't need to give so much of the flexibility in the listing, and that you can really preset expectations and position yourself from a position of strength, and not have to give away the farm. So just
I agree with that. Thanks. You know what? And how this whole thing started was because of expireds. So, I mean, I was going after expireds heavily. So we had a communication guarantee because the number one reason why people don't want to relist is because of lack of communication. So that's why we did that. And the second thing was with the 30-day test drive. Usually people, if they have a 6 or 12 months listing, they're done after 3. They're wishing out that they want it. So that's why I implemented it. But what I may do then, now hearing this, is leave it maybe in our back pocket and not bring it out unless we have to.
Exactly.
And just use it as an objection handler.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. No, that's good. Thank you. What else? Oh, going back to just some culture stuff. We like to have a lot of fun. And is that video working now? It's a good time to do the video. So, this is just a video we shot. I don't know if the speakers are good on this either.
It's a jam box.
What's up, Mastermind friends? Come on in. Welcome to Stasek Group. These are our new corporate offices. We're super excited about them. We're going to show you around real quick, and so you can get a feel of our day-to-days and our key players. Right here in the front, we have our front lounge, where clients that are coming in to see us can hang out. We got our little dog down there. That's Max. He just watches over the place. Got our conference room over here. If you want to turn around real quick, you can see that what I stare at every day when I'm going to my appointments is going out to Secor, Greenbow, Alabama. And we're running and running. Right over here we have our marketing ninja black belt. We got our caution sign up here so nobody comes and disturbs her while she's doing all our ninja marketing. And that is Lynn. You guys will all meet Lynn. She's going to be coming down in a couple days. The first thing you see when you come to our offices is our set of core values. In the middle, Jay Kinder sent out a video about that bank. I think it's down somewhere in the south where they had, it was all about love, the tough love, 100-0. It's how they ran their core values, and it's 100% accountability with 0 excuses. So that's in the middle and the core of our core values. All right, come on back. Back here, we have my office. As you can see, I'm very clean and orderly. Everything has its place. And right above that, we have the squirrel's nest. That's Nutty. And Nutty makes sure that we're on task, because this is an anti-squirrel zone over here. And I think we all know. We all have a few squirrels that creep into our office once in a while. That's Cocky. And I don't even know what he was doing here. I still haven't figured that out myself. I don't even know how he ended up here, but all of a sudden we got stuffed animals all over the place. This is our back area. We're all hooked up with the flat screen. The flat is connected to the internet, so we're able to watch training videos, Kindery's NAEA videos every Thursday morning. This is where we all sit. This is our rear lounge. We have a nice couch. We pull all our chairs up and around. And this table right here, this very table right here, we had specially made in the shape of an S for Stasek. It cost me lots and lots of money. Just kidding. All right. Back here, more agent offices, and then this is one of my rockstar agents, Wendy Connolly. Say hi to the Kindery's Mastermind, Wendy.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Wendy's absolutely crushing it this year. I think she hit like 38,000 GCI last month. Absolutely killing it. Love it. Wendy's doing an awesome job. Back here, we have Desiree. You're going to meet Desiree. She's coming down with Lynn, and she's our contract to close. So thanks for watching my office tour. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you at the top. All right. So that was that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So what is the office space rent for in Cleveland?
That office, I will tell you right now, I stole it. It was empty for 5 years. I don't know why. It's right next to a deli. Well, it came equipped with, you ever see those shotguns that are underneath the thing? They're just strapped under the table. No, it is an unusual spot, but it's right by the airport. And Jay and I mean, what took you 2 minutes from the airport to get there?
Yeah. Well, we went to the wrong one.
You went to the wrong one.
We went to the one that was on your website.
In River, yeah. That's the one we want. That's the one we want the unhappy customers to go to. That one. We don't want them to know really where we're at. But it's real central. But that space right there is about 1,500 square feet. It was all built out. I got 6 months of free rent, and it's like $1,350 a month. Wow. So it's It's nice, you know, and it's cheap, so we like that. But it's central to where we're going, and so that's that. The compensation, the old way, I'm going to go a little bit into how I compensate our agents, because it's been, the problem was this. I would have quarterly goals, and we'd be switching commission structures like every quarter, and it was just getting ridiculous. So somebody would have an awesome quarter, they'd smash it, and they'd go from 50-50 to a 60-40 split. And then the quarter that they're on that 60-40 split, they have a bad quarter, and we lose tons of money. And it's just, I saw this cycle happening. Or, and you know, hey guys, let me see you guys. Or, squirrel, we would, and this was good for the company, but it wasn't making the agent very happy. They would crush it, making what they, you know, hitting their numbers that they should be hitting 60 on for, because then we switched it from a quarterly to a half a year review, and then, you know, they were crushing it, and 50-50, and they're thinking, man, I should have been on a higher split. So that left them feeling a little like, and then they went, you know, to the higher split, and maybe, you know, we're very seasonal. So the first quarter is kind of, you know, not so great. The second quarter strong, third quarter strong. The fourth quarter starts to, you know, pull back a little bit in Cleveland, mainly because of weather. So I came up with this new structure, and it's complicated. The math on it's complicated, but I paid a programmer to do an Excel sheet, so all the math on the back end is done, and I can send it to anybody if anybody wants it. But it's based off of I like Jay's. Jay does a rolling 12, which I think is much easier to do. What this does is it starts everybody at 50-50 right out of the gates. So from 0 to 8,500 in gross commissions. Actually, it's 0 to you know, we have a small Remax fee taken out of every transaction. So it's actually the adjusted gross commission. From 0 to 8,500 in adjusted gross commission. It's a 50% paid out on every single person. So every single person on the entire team, all 5 of the agents are on the exact same. No one's on a high split or low split. Go ahead.
But if they get the lead from your ISA, there's 20% off the top.
Correct. So if they go from 8501 to 139999, which is 14,000 basically, they go to a 60, and anything over 14,000 or 15,000 in gross commissions is paid at a 70, and this resets every single month. So the trick is if you get, okay, so let's say the first threshold is $8,500. Let's just call it 9. Pardon?
The average?
Our average transaction is about $4,500. Pardon?
Your average DCI?
$4,500. So our average is about $4,500 in our marketplace. That's our average check. Average is somewhere around $150 to $160. So we're not in a super high area. Yeah.
So is this, once they reach that threshold, is that what their commission is for the next month?
No. For the next deal that month.
The next
So,
deal?
so let's say they put 5 in escrow that for 1 month. Okay. The first one, let's say they hit 4,500. Let's say the second check is a $5,000 check, so they cross over the threshold. They'll get paid 50% on that. They'll get paid 50% up to that $8,500 number, and then when that second check crosses over that threshold, let's say there was $500 left over on that second check, that would be paid at the higher split. Thank you. So that's why the math can get funny, because you're calculating, potentially splitting a check that comes in. So when the check comes in, if it goes over that threshold, you got to pay it, you know. But it's the most fair system ever.
What's the next tier?
My next tier is 15,000 GCI or
Pays
pardon,
what percentage?
70.
60. No, 60.
Oh, 60's at 15. Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait a second, you said 8,500 to 30,000?
Do you, that sounds like a lot of extra work for you and your accounting department. Do you feel that that's necessary to keep the people that you have?
Well, here's what it did. Nobody worries about the bad months, and because I have the Excel sheet, there's no extra accounting. All I do is plug plug them in, and it does it for you. So it's doing all the math for us. We don't have to do a ton of extra anything. The reason I did this is not for the good months. The reason I did this is for the months where, you know, the operating account is low, and there's not a whole lot of money coming, you know, you're not doing a ton of deals like in June when you're doing 25, 30 deals, and there's $100,000 coming in gross commissions. You don't worry about those months. You're worrying about the months where maybe there's only 25 grand in gross or 30 grand in gross commissions. Unfortunately, in the dead of winter, sometimes those happen in Cleveland. So this protects you against that guy, that agent who has a superstar month. You jack him up because you want to reward him for killing it. And that's just the way I've always structured my agents, is that if you're hitting a certain threshold, you'll get a higher percentage. If you're not, then you're going to get a lower. It's just that simple. But the way I did it this way is that every month it starts over, and the company's dollar is taken care of immediately doing it this way.
Can you go over that scaling in? 'Cause
Okay, sorry. So from $0 to $8,500, paid at 50-50. So if they do their 2 deals a month, which is what they should be doing, they're getting 50-50 on their 2 deals. If they're doing 3, because our average check is about $4,500, from $8,501 to $14,000 is paid at 60%. In $14,000, and this isn't gross commissions per month and up, is paid at 70. Now the chances of that happening a lot aren't, you know, not everybody on the team is going to be killing it and getting 70%. So it works out. If your average agent's doing 2 to 3 deals, you're still doing that. And and the goal is that this is the structure for any deals that are coming in. If I'm giving them an ISA teed up lead, it's this minus 20%. So it's 20% off the top. Then this kicks in. So the 50%'s paid at somewhere around 41%, and the 60%, if I'm giving them the lead, is going to be paid somewhere probably around 51.
And that 20% goes to the house, right?
Correct.
How much does the ISA get?
The ISA gets $200 or close.
Yeah, so we do the same thing. We calculate on a quarterly basis.
Yeah.
Which actually on the 3rd month of that quarter, the people that are over start piling it on. I mean, they're going for it because they're in the 70% bonus. But we have a higher threshold. I mean, 8,000 gross commission income is a minimum for our agents. If they do below that, they have to pay us at the end of the quarter.
Yeah, I mean,
I kid you not. If our agents do not do 8,000 gross commission income for 24,000 the entire quarter, their next quarter we will start withholding their commissions.
well, what's your average check? Is like 7-8 grand, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Mine's 4,500. So that's the difference. And I mean, obviously, all this is adjustable market to market. Yeah. Yeah, Coach.
Hey, Brother Al, real quick question. So every month this resets, right?
It resets. Yeah.
You've been doing this for how long?
Just like 2 months.
Okay, so you haven't had an experience yet where people were jamming transactions all into 1 month?
They could try to do that. I mean, you can only do that so much. I mean, I haven't been doing this maybe longer than some people in here, but I mean, if you're going, you're going. I mean, you can't always just pick the closing date. You can try and of course, we all want a 45-day close or a 30-day, whatever. It's just not always going to happen. So if they want to pile them all in. But I mean, it isn't going to matter because the next month they're going right back to 50 anyway. So, I mean, I don't know what I came up with here.
From a model standpoint, I think the argument is every single one of them calling every single one of the leads and setting the appointments. And really, when you divide the labor that you have them doing, is it really worth giving 50 cents of the dollar away on $1 million transaction? We had a guy that came in on a $2.2 million house, and he wanted to write an offer, right? $2.2 million. Can I write an offer? Am I going to give away 60 grand for an agent to go out and write an offer? Or is that company-generated business that's going through the ISA where all those dollars are being kept? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I think that it's really, I've done what you've done, not maybe, I didn't probably have, I had Steve be able to calculate the commissions. I felt like I got reverse leverage over time, meaning, it was very complicated to determine, who made what and when. And I felt like the objective or my intentions was to get people motivated. And I think that there's other ways to motivate people, not just money. And so what I found was investing in a good culture, bringing people on and finding out what drives them and some of these other things. You can accomplish the same goal without having to give away all the dollar.
Right.
Ultimately, when you have a bunch of people and you don't have some of those other things, dialed in and you're just trying to build systems to keep people, because you start going and then they start making money and then because you always get that question, what do I get if it's one of my referrals? I always say, you know what, I'll make you a deal. I'll pay you 70% on your referrals, and let's say on where you're getting 50-50, why don't you start paying me 70% on my referrals, right?
There you go.
It's a two-way street.
Right.
The deal's the deal.
Yeah,
And
I agree with that.
It's the ability to, at the end of the day, I think it's looking at it from a Greg Crabtree model and saying, I would advise anybody and everybody, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Know your numbers. At the end of the day, look at the model, and the model will tell you if it's a winner or if it's a loser. It's just like at Infusionsoft. When they came down at the end of the day and they said in 2010, it was we were going to die on the operating table or we were going to survive, they weren't emotionally attached to whatever they were. They were solution-oriented. They used principles, and I think the principle is there's a model that, the Redbox won because of the model, right? If other agents in your marketplace can afford to acquire a customer and spend more money to acquire the customer because they're not giving as much money away to the agent, then ultimately you would lose to a guy like D&J coming to your market over time.
Right.
Maybe not right now when you don't have somebody, but it's just, look at Buddy Blake in his market. He's got one guy, Lad, that came to our conference, and now he's competing with them on a very aggressive level. And that's, that can happen any day on your market. And what happens if Lad is paying his agents less, and he's able to then acquire customers and spend more because of his model. So I think it's in the model at the principal bottom level.
Got it.
We're in a hybrid model, and ultimately we're at a salary base. So those appointments go to Mike Everett, and where Mike Everett would handle those, and the house keeps basically 90% of every dollar, 90 cents of every dollar. And no, not all of them. We're on a hybrid model, so we're on the process of working over. I've had agents. My biggest problem in putting agents on a salary buyer agent model, which I trying to be open-minded and learn from everybody in the room, was I couldn't keep them there. I ended up with 4 Hummers that no one wanted to drive, and because I thought that was a good idea, right? I was like, oh, this is a good idea, and I bought all these Hummers, wrapped them, gave them the keys, gas at $4 a gallon. I had 4 Hummers in my driveway. No one wanted to drive them anymore. And so, it was a learning lesson, but what I did know that is at one point I had a guy, Mario Sanchez, he was closing about 3 deals every single month for about a 6 to 8 month span. He stayed on the salary model, and I made way more money on him there than when he was on the other side.
I think too, the thing to consider too is the takeaway is that nothing that we're going to be throwing at you is something that we're just saying from a guess. It's we've been there, we've made those same types of adjustments in our business and in our model and tried to fix the problem, which Mike nailed it, by the way, which your problem is you're wanting to motivate your agents to sell more homes, right? That was your objective in trying to make a fair compensation package that made sense for the people you have for attracting new agents. Would that be correct in saying?
Well, the 2 reasons was it protects your bottom line on months that aren't rocking out,
Compared to what you were doing.
Compared to what I was doing, right. So it's better than what I was doing. I'm not saying it's perfect. And it kind of shuts the whole conversation down when I'm recruiting new people. So what's your commission split? Everybody's on the same. There is no discussion. You don't even have to worry about it because it's everyone's on the same. And even the most rock star guy on the team is on the same. So it seems like it could be the most fair. What we're going through
be at the end of the month when your closing department has a deal that pushes into the next month, and they want to know why they want to get the same split that they should have got because you're an admin didn't do the job correctly. It creates kind of some animosity in terms of the closing, or a buyer wanting to close, or a customer experience where they want to close to push the payment out a month, and they want to close it on the 31st because it means an extra grand to them. So.
Date should be the date you write the agreement, not the settlement date. So if you write 3 deals, the acceptance date is on between August 1st and August 31st, not the settlement date.
And then you pay a guy a whole bunch of money, and then 3 deals don't end up closing. That's the problem. Well, I think it goes, and I guarantee you can make it work. And from a solution standpoint, I think my strategy is to go with what gets us close, takes us to our vision. And my vision is to build a model that's ran on salary. So maybe that's maybe
Yeah.
I have.
I'm out of.
Let me make one more comment to,
Yeah.
to the direction I think that we all probably want to go. Ultimately, the way you solve the problem of having the feeling of needing a whole bunch of agents in order to accomplish your income goals is we feel like you have to have all these agents in order to hit the goal. The reason that we hire all these agents, we have all these leads, but from a conversion standpoint, you got one agent usually that's really good, and you got one, all the way to the other spectrum, and one sucks and one is horrible. So I've been all the way up to 22 agents, and I'm back down to like 7, 8 agents. And I've got my 7 or 8 best agents, but until you take control, all of us in the room, me included, because I have not implemented this, I have tested it and failed a couple of times, and when we hit it this time, we're going to hit it and we're going to crush it. But until you take control of the process of lead conversion to appointment set with buyer signs agreement with your company, until you take over that part of the process, the need for agents to accomplish that and then paying them and compensating them well is going to be the solution for that. Would you guys all agree with that?
Yeah.
That's been our solution thus far.
Right.
If you take control of that process, then you have back control, just like you're taking the 20% off the top.
Right.
Once you have control of that, then you can shift your model around. But as long as you're doing, which is something that John and I did in our business to alleviate the problem of the agent coming in our office and saying, well, I want a different split, or this, all those conversations that are, they're difficult coming in. We started tracking it. And when they come into our office, we pull it up. It's real simple. How much of your business is company-generated business versus agent-generated? Once you've protected all of your tracking, all your funnels into your company, you know where the leads are coming from, it's real clear. 82% of our business is company-generated, so there's not a big percentage of the deals that are coming from the agent. If there is, that's what we consider a fair deal. It's not a fair deal if you're getting 82% company-generated business and you want a higher split. Show me what you've done for me lately. So that conversation is very easy to have once you're tracking those things. And if you have an agent that's bringing you more business than that you're giving them,
Well, that's what I have. And I mean, I got a 28-year-old veteran, or not 28-year-old, 28-year veteran in the business. He's about 52 years old. He's been an agent for 28 years. I mean, since he was 24 years old, and he's got a ton of repeat referral business that just comes out. And he's behind me. He's the number 2 guy. So it would be unfair to just, say, all right, I'm just, on all this business that you just have coming in, I'd rather have something that, shows them that I'm putting a good foot forward and saying, yeah, I mean, you got all this referral business, and his business is probably more him than getting from me. But the goal is, and I'll just end on this because I know my time's up. My goal is to make that shift from all the Realtor.com leads that come in from or all the leads that come in off of our websites, and capturing those sitters, those easy cream puff leads that all are truly people, and we're going to be turning those into ISAs, and that's how we're just going to start converting and just put more revenue into the bucket with that 20%. So, all right, thank you.
Did you name your TV class?